Well, hello there, my darlings, and welcome back to another little episode of the WARFRAMEs. And today, as you can see, we are curious about Kitguns. A modular weapon can be turned into a secondary or primary. Have you heard about them? Are you concerned about them? Shall we look into them? I'm going to show you where to get them, how to build them, etc. today. And if any of this video or any of my other videos tickle your fancy, please consider dropping a like, comment and or sub, and I will be eternally grateful to you. And thank you for all of the support thus far. In the meantime, let's get into it. So the first thing you need to know is where to get your Kitgun parts from, and you can get them from two different places. Mainly Zuud on Fortuna, and that means you're going to have to have done the Voxelaris quest at the very least. And the other place you can eventually get some more parts, not the majority of them, is at the Necrolisk, bought from Father, and that means you're going to have done the Heart of Deimos quest to unlock the Necrolisk and all the NPCs there. Don't worry too much about getting to the Necrolisk in a hurry, just work your way through the game. When you're early on in the game, these lower level quests can feel quite tricky, so don't stress too much. If you're having trouble, come and find us on the Discord. Link is in my channel and we can help you out and give you some advice. But I mean, if you unlock Zuud, you must remember that all the parts that she sells, which you'll see shortly, have all been unlocked to me because I am a rank 5. I am old mate here at Fortuna. These will unlock to you in stages when you're ranking up here. So, but you will be able to build a Kitgun when you first get to Fortuna, rank up to maybe 1 or 2. I can't remember when they actually unlock, and you can just buy the parts and start building and playing with them. Now, obviously those are going to be like the best builds that people will recommend to you, but don't worry about that too much. Now let's have a look at the components that you can buy here for Kitguns. So to build a Kitgun, you need 3 components. You need a chamber, a grip and a loader, and here you see the chambers available to us on Fortuna. There are 4 here. The chambers are the things that will earn you affinity once you have built it, ranked it, then gilded it, and you can only earn affinity once, but you can use these chambers multiple times in multiple builds if you so wish. And all in, there are 6 chambers to be bought, 4 here and 2 with Father and the Necrolisk. The chamber determines the form of the weapon's unique damage properties, ranging from large energy projectiles to beams, as well as its trigger type. They can also be turned into primary and secondary versions of themselves, but as I mentioned, you can only earn a mastery, i.e. affinity, once on each of these chambers. And each of these costs around 500 standing at Fortuna, and they also require further components. So, for example, the Venurdo alloy that we're looking at here, that's a blueprint that you'll buy from, I think, Smokefinger here, and then you'll have to get some Venurdo and then build it in your foundry. The nodules will be found here, the cryllothermal laser, that'll be from fishing, and you can see we need necrotic. So there are multiple further components you're going to need for all 3 of the blueprints that you need to build a Kitgun. So it's not just as easy as buying the blueprints and building them, there's always further steps. And next up are the grips. You can have a primary grip or a secondary grip, and obviously that determines whether you're having a primary weapon or secondary version of it. Up to you what you fancy building. You can do them all if you wish. And the grip determines the balance between the weapon's base damage, fire rate, and the amount of recoil. So, and it's usually a trade-off. So if you have high damage, you might have a lower fire rate. And it's up to you to choose what you prefer. And as you can see, they cost standing. These go up to sort of 2,000-ish. So you're going to have to earn standing here at Orvalis. And then things like Goblite Tears, you're going to have to build those. Travesite alloy, you're going to have to buy blueprints and build them in your foundry. And go out and collect the scrap. And obviously they cost credits. The recast and neural relays, anything like II rotor blades, this is all fishing on Orvalis, where you'll have to dismantle your fish and get those juicy parts for yourselves. And as you can see, we had a look at the primary and the secondary, and again, it's totally up to you what you fancy building, whether you're a secondary type person or a primary. Now there will be, again, optimum builds. I have a secondary weapon built with components from Father and Zuud, and I will show you that nearer the end. For this video, I just grabbed some random parts and built one of these Kitguns I hadn't built before, and just had a go with it because it's just fun figuring out what you like and what you don't like. And yes, there will be ultimate builds, but there will also be your preferred playstyle to take into account. Now there is a wiki page which I will link in the description that takes you to all the stats if you mix and match your your grips with your chambers and what it's going to come out as. But what we're looking at right now is the loader. So this is the third component, and there are 20 all in the game to collect, which, as you can imagine, is quite a lot of choice. Loaders are tertiary components representing the Kitgun's receiver and magazine assembly. It's responsible for the balance of the weapon's secondary stats, including critical hits and status effects, and magazine size and reload speeds. And it's often, again, a trade-off between higher crit chance, lower status, higher magazine, lower reload, etc. So again, it's going to be playing around with it. As you can see, they get up to around 4,000 standing here, and it's just, you know, there are options. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to buy here. And let's just talk about Arcanes briefly here. For Kitguns, you can buy these packs Arcanes from Zuud at Fortuna, and they cost 10,000 standing each, and you're going to need 10 of each of them to fully rank them to get the full benefit from them. And I use the Pax Charge very often on my secondary weapons, because Pax Charge basically takes away the need for ammo. It just recharges its magazine, and that's it. So taking it to a mission where you may run out of ammo is incredibly useful. I've been, you know, happy in the past where other people have run out of ammo and they didn't bring their ammo drops with them. And I've just merrily been peeling things with my secondary Kitgun forever. It's for eternity without running out of ammunition. And once you've fully ranked it and gilded it, if you have a primary or secondary Arcane Adapter from Teshin, you can actually get a second Arcane into your weapon. So you can put a Pax Arcane in and your normal other Arcanes if you have access to them later on in the game. The other Arcanes that people probably don't know about or don't know how they work are the residual Arcanes that you can also put into your Kitguns only, and they can only be got from Isolation Vault bounties, but I think they're also tradable, and they actually work in conjunction with Theorem Arcanes, which is another type of Arcane you get from the Isolation bounties on the Necrolisk, and those are Warframe Arcanes. So if you put that Arcane into your Warframe, then they'll work in conjunction with the residual Arcane that is linked to your Kitgun. And that's quite an interesting combo that I never really looked into before. Don't know how effective they actually are, but we can do probably a separate video on that. But if anybody's got anything to add to that in the comments about them and how to use them, feel free. There's not a huge amount of them to choose from and fiddle around with, so, you know, it's not too complicated. But something to look into, right? And I've just headed to Father at the Necrolisk. Again, I have fully ranked up here with the Entrati family, so everything is unlocked to me. And as you can see, we have some chambers, some grips, and some loaders. Now, here it doesn't divvy them out at the top. They're just under miscellaneous and all. They don't have their own kind of header here with Father, so have a rummage around. I've actually found it difficult to work out what was the chamber, what was the grip, what was the loader. If you don't know, just buy them, build them, and then it'll turn up when you actually come back to build. But there's also a wiki page that will tell you. Now, the Spore Lacer is my go-to chamber for most of my weapons. It is really freaking good. And I don't know if I bought something from here, but I've definitely built a new Kitgun for this video using some of the components that you see in front of you. And they're a bit more expensive to build, as in, you can buy the blueprints for like 500-ish standing. This is Necrolisk standing now that you've earned here. But you're going to have to buy further blueprints like the faceted Tiemetrite that we're looking at here. That'll be bought from OTAC, and then you'll need to build it in your foundry. And the components that you'll see here, you will get from being out on the Cambion Drift here. And the fishing, you know, dismantling your fish here with Daughter. The scintillant, that's quite tricky to get, but I did do a scintillant video. I can do another one. That's usually down in the depths, you know, the ISO Vault depths. So this is kind of like a little bit later on when you're a bit further on the Necrolisk and you feel a bit more confident about what you're getting here. So don't stress too much. I have done a Necrolisk Cambion Drift video. It's an older one, so don't judge me, okay? My videos are improving as we're going. So yeah, touch wood. And then once you've got your components that you're happy with, or you're just trialing, go back to your foundry and your orbiter, and they're under modular, very similar to your Zaws because it's a modular weapon, same as Amps. And then scroll down, have a look for them, and you may need at this point to build further blueprints. That'll probably be in your mining tab. And if you don't have those items, you're going to have to earn standing and go and buy those blueprints from either Smokefinger or OTAC, like we mentioned, and just have a wander around on the Cambion Drift and or Valis and pick up some goodies. If you have a resource booster, that's the perfect time to go and pick up even more stuff in one go. Just have a wander, do some bounties, whatever. Get out there, get looting. And it takes 5,000 credits to build these blueprints, but it only takes an hour to build them. So once you've got them on, go off and do some other stuff, come back and claim them, and then we're going to build our kit gun for the first time. So to build my kit gun, I have headed back to Father, but you can go to Zuud, it doesn't matter. And at this point, it only costs credits to build it. You don't need any further kind of standing or items. And much like the Zaws, you require 3 built components. You can preview the non-built ones that you don't own, but you have to have built the ones that you want to actually combine together. So I'm choosing a Catch Moon chamber. I'm choosing an Ulnaris grip that you just saw me buy and build, and I've chosen a slap needle loader. These were kind of random. There are there's always going to be the ultimate builds, but I just went for a random one because why not? I've got all the others kind of built. There are, I should add, 1,200 possible combinations once you've unlocked all the items at Zuud and Father. So you know 1,200 kit guns. Who's building all of those? Do tell me. Certainly not I. And there you go, we've built it. You can preview it, you can preview it gilded, but at this point you can't do much with it apart from mod it and add a potato. So that's what we're going to do, and then you really need to rank it up, get it up to 30, and that's when we can gild it and make it a little bit more interesting and useful. And I've headed back to my arsenal and I'm equipping my kit gun. It's a secondary. Now, if you're not sure what you've built, it'll always show you in the top right hand of the screen, but it also, when we hovered over it in the arsenal to choose it, also showed us the components if you get lost and confused of what you've chosen in the past. And it's pretty ugly at this point. We can't pretty it up because it's not gilded. So it's an unranked kit gun. We can just shove a potato in it if we want to, a catalyst, which I've done, which doubles up your slot capacity. And as you can see, we've got arcane slots. There's actually 2, as I discussed with you earlier. We've got the one at the top, which will unlock once we've gilded it, and we'll also, I think, get a sort of free former slot when we gild it. And we also have our normal arcane, so I need a secondary arcane adapter, which I would obtain from Teshin for Steel Essence. And at this point, I'm just going to shove a load of mods in. I want to talk about Riven mods for kit guns, very much like Zaws. They're very niche, but they're actually incredibly useful. And I've actually got a lot of Spore Lacer Rivens because they were cheap from the market to buy, like rubbish Rivens, and I just re-rolled them until I got some stats that I liked. I think I ended up with 3. I think I got one myself as well, or 2. I cracked a couple open, and yeah, I'll show you my Rivens in a moment. But at this point, I'm just going to shove in some mods. I'm going to rank it up to 30, and then we need to gild it. So I went to Sedna Hydron to rank up my kit gun. I won't bore you with that. Got it up to 30, went back to Zuud, and it turned out I didn't have enough standing or shelter det bonds. So I went and got my shelter det bonds. You need 10 of them from Ticker. I just traded in components that I'd got from missions here and just running around on Old Valis. But you can go and check the bounty rewards as well. They will give you det bonds. So you need 10 shelter det bonds and 5,000 standing here at Fortuna to gild your kit gun. And if you want to gild it with Father at the Necrolisc, it's going to take 25 Father tokens plus 5,000 standing there at the Necrolisc. And when you gild your weapon, your kit gun, much like a Zaw, they give you a free polarity slot like a former, and choose wisely. And then you can also name your weapon. I called mine 1999 because I've been doing so much ARG content. Go and check out those videos if you haven't, leading up to the WARFRAME 1999 update. That's the only reason. It's not linked to this kit gun at all. It's not an Easter egg, guys, calm down. Anyway, once you've gilded it, it's now unranked again, so you're going to have to rank it up. But what it does do is open up that arcane slot after you've gilded it for the packs or residual arcanes. You don't have to pay anything to open that up apart from the 5,000 standing and whatever it is you need to gild it with Zuud or Father, and then you can shove in your arcanes. Now, I had a look at my residual arcanes. As you can see, I've got the packs ones there as well. All tradable, so you can buy them from other players, the residuals, if you can't get them from ISO Vaults. And secondary and primary arcane adapters are available from Teshin. Once you've unlocked Steel Path, that's completing all the nodes on your star chart, as this is where A, you get Steel Essence, and B, where you can spend your Steel Essence with Teshin. Steel Essence, it's going to cost 15 of those each for a primary or secondary arcane adapter from Teshin. Now, as I've previously mentioned on this channel, I'm no meta gamer and I'm not a mod expert, but I've got some ideas. Obviously with Kitguns, you're either kind of focusing on the crit or the status side of it. This seemed to be higher crit, and then you can mod your Rivens to whatever you'd prefer, or roll them to the point where you get good crit or good status. And as you can see, I've got some nice skins for this weapon, so now we've gilded it, we can make it look pretty and match the colors to our Warframe, etc. Fashion frame our weapons. So I just modded it up, and then I went and re-ranked it again, and then I took it out to my Simulacrum. But it wasn't going to be this weapon that I ever wanted to showcase. It was my Squelcher secondary, which I've actually given to one of my crew members, and I haven't got an elite one yet, but I'm working towards it. And it used to be my go-to weapon for a lot of stuff, not higher end Steel Path, but I can definitely use it on Steel Path. I'm going to show you that, but I'm going to take it to the Simulacrum first. And I wanted to show you this one that we built anyway, the one that I called 1999. And isn't that a beautiful skin? I freaking love that skin for that weapon. So I took 1999 unranked to the Simulacrum. Now, I had ranked it up to 30 and then formed it myself. So as you can see, there is now another polarity former in the top right there for prime target cracker. So I was trying to head in towards critical here, but you could probably build a version of it where it's a status weapon and it might do better. So I would love somebody in the comments to kind of suggest the best versions of whichever kit guns. You know there's going to be somebody out there that's tested them all. You just know there is, and I really hope they find this video and enlighten us all, or come to my Discord and help us out there. Now, I put 100 level enemies on, and it did okay. I've got Neza because he can kind of protect himself. Now, I did pop Raw at one point, and I did use his flaming trails, but generally I was just trying to see how it fares against the Corpus enemies here. And it did okay. As you can see, it's got like a long kind of shooting arc to it, and it has like a drop off, so it doesn't always reach the enemy. And this reminds me of my Spore Lacer. My Spore Lacer is very much a AoE weapon, which is why I loved it so much when I was newer to the game. So I built the Spore Lacer kit gun that you're about to see a very, very long time ago on my Xbox account. And I used it a lot before Incarnate weapons were a thing. And when I first started on the PC account, which is now they've merged, the Spore Lacer build that you're about to see was the one I headed towards the soonest, like the quickest that I could, because I knew that it would do me really, really well. And once I got that PAX Charge Arcane into it, I didn't have to worry about ammunition at all, because it recharges itself. And the one thing I would warn you about kit guns, if you want to invest into them, to make them really good, you need a Riven mod if you can, and you need a lot of former to get them as high as possible. And I still feel like they could go further, but I've got the 2 Arcanes in. So you can see this is Squelcher, and it's got 8 former. 8 former in it. And Squelchy was my PC version of that I was working towards improving. Now, Squelcher, it makes a squelchy noise. What can I say? Yeah, I've given it to my crew member, like I mentioned, and I'm going to show you some footage of my crew member supporting me. So we both took our Squelchers into a mission together on Steel Path and just squelched our way through the enemies like... ain't no thing. And at this point I raised the enemy level to 200 because I know that this kit gun is very good. It's not going to be the best weapon in the game. It doesn't one-shot things. I'm sure if we work on the mod configuration though and a better Riven situation, I am 100% certain that someone in the comments, some expert, can help me improve the mod configuration and the build, maybe possibly, and in conjunction maybe with a Warframe's abilities. I've just brought Neza for now, but I know that if you bring other Warframes with kind of like status effects or critical boosts, you're gonna improve no end, and I'm sure your Warframe operator ability would help as well. So I tried all the enemies here, even the sentients, and eventually my Squelcher took them down. Took a moment, but it's still very doable. So the point I wanted to make was, you know, if we can take level 200 sentients down in the Simulacrum, we're probably going to do quite well on the lower level or the normal star chart. So it's definitely weapons worth working towards, and if nothing else, at least you'll get some affinity out of doing them and have a little bit of fun with them. And if you pick up a random Riven mod, maybe you could make some use of it. Now let's have a look at Steel Path. So for this video, I headed to the Steel Path, Pluto. I went to Hydra Capture just to see how it went. I didn't want anything too kind of stressful and testing. And when I got here, I popped out my little crew member, and he is equipped with my Squelcher. I felt, though, like watching what he was doing, like his version of my Squelcher was better. Now, I have sped this footage up so we don't get too bored watching me playing the game. I don't know if you guys just want to watch me play the game. I'm not sure. But I know it can get a bit tedious and you just want to go and play yourselves. But it was really easy to take down the capture target. My crew member was just holding down the fort while we did it. And this is Steel Path, Pluto. And I'm like, it ain't no thing. Now I've used Neza here. His flaming blazing trails will damage these corpus quite nicely, but I wanted to sort of even out the playing field, so I went to the Zaraman and I did the exterminate there next, because the heat damage from Neza doesn't really impact the enemies there, so I felt like that sort of neutralized his usefulness. Obviously I do pop raw. I don't actually know if someone can remind me, does raw impact your weapon damage or is it just your ability damage? Anyway, there you go. We completed the capture and it was like easy peasy lemon squeezing. I only used my Squelcher gun and my crew member, obviously. And then I headed to the Halico perimeter exterminate on the Steel Path at the Zaraman, 150 plus enemies. And I wouldn't use the kit gun per se for these missions, but I just wanted to show that it can be done. So ergo, lower level, when you're newer to the game and you've got access to Fortuna, you know, build these kit guns if you can, rank up there, get the parts, and you'll be good to go for quite some time until you can get better weapons like the Kuva weapons, the Tenet weapons, and the Incarnate weapons. Although I feel like people are getting hold of the Incarnate weapons a lot earlier now. Please remember, they didn't always exist. So you had to sort of make do with other types of weapons to get you further on in the game. And as you can see, it took down the Legatus or whatever is the Thrax enemy quite nicely. And I think I forgot to pop out my crew member. I think I did this a bit later. Once I popped the crew member out with the second Squelcher in the mission, well, he went to town on the enemies killed. I'm going to fast forward to show you. I was clearly just having such a whale of a time killing stuff and listening to the sound effect of this Squelcher gun, honestly. It's so freaking satisfying in my headset that I forgot to pop my little healthy helper tonight, but popped the crew member right now. And then I just found that this mission completed so much quicker. Like the Squelcher, I think I hadn't changed the mods to suit enemy types. I don't do that very often. I'm quite a lazy mod configurator. I like a generic mod loadout, and I know as you get to the higher levels it's more important to specifically go for damage type, status effects, etc. to damage the enemies quicker and kill them. I know, I get it. I know. Fine, I'll work on it. But yeah, no, I think really what I wanted to show anybody who's watching this video who hasn't, not higher level players who've got everything, but I get a lot of new players come into my Discord and you are absolutely more than welcome. But what I hate is them seeing the people around them with like better weapons, more damage, more mods, higher level everything, and feeling that sort of FOMO feeling of, oh, I've got to accelerate my way through this game, super speedy and get all the high level stuff. And I just wanted to say and reiterate that everybody can play this game the way they choose to. Just because it might not be the way I chose to play it, or I can see that there might be a better way or a more efficient way, doesn't mean I get to tell you how to play the game, and it goes for literally everyone. So the one thing I do try to spread in my Discord, and I don't have to say it very often because they're all extremely similarly minded to me, is that we're just here to help each other, mainly have fun. We're loot goblins, yes, we want all the good stuff, but we're helping each other. We're not forcing anybody who's new to the game to play it in a specific way and to be meta gamers, otherwise somehow you're a failure. I am not a meta gamer. I welcome people who go against that grain of that pressurized feeling of I've got to get 1.1 million red crits, otherwise, you know, what's the point of me even picking up my controller on my PC? What's the point? I may as well just leave and hang my head in shame. Can't stand it. Not about it. I am not dissing the people that are into metagaming as well. Like I literally just said, each to their own. But I do get a lot of judgment for not playing it a certain way from certain, you know, it's the internet, isn't it? Anyway, my darlings, what I'm trying to say is have a look at kit guns. have some fun with them. If there are any experts and metagamers out there, please feel free to leave your comments. We're very interested. Just don't be insisting that everybody has to play the game the way you want it played. And if you're new and you're not sure what's going on, come and find our Discord, Coffee Barbarian. It's on my YouTube channel. The link is there. Come and find your way in. There's loads of helpful people there, and we don't just play Warframe over there, okay? There's all sorts of games going on, and if you check out my channel, there's all sorts of stuff happening. But obviously we're concentrating on Warframe at the moment because the 1999 update coming as I record this in November 2024. If you come to this in the future, you might wonder what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, my darlings, what do you think of kit guns? And are you going to go and get yourself one? And do you have a lot of them? That's what I want to know. Who out there has got the 1,200 combos? I bet there's someone. You just know there's going to be someone. Anyway, my darlings, as you can see behind me is the Warframe 1999 poster and the Lloyd display poster. We got that from the ARG. A lot of people were like, yeah, about it, but I loved every second of it. Regardless of the reward at the end, the actual partaking in it with the community was awesome. Go and check out those videos if you haven't. And I just want to thank you all for your support, for watching my videos, for leaving comments, liking my videos and subbing, and coming to the Discord and talking with me and my lovely Discordian family over there. You're all more than welcome. It's a positive vibe kind of area, and I've enjoyed doing these kind of modular weapon videos, and I'm going to move on to something else. There are so many ideas. If there's something you'd like me to cover in this game, please let me know in the comments. I was inspired by my Discordians and comments to make these videos. I'm not an expert, and it's actually teaching me a huge amount myself. And like I said, I don't know everything and I get things wrong. So please feel free to correct me in the comments. But just, you know, make good choices and be nice about it, okay? Sensitive soul. I'm not really. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But in the meantime, you take care now, and goodbye.